You're listening to Opinions in Beer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does that have... That has a whiffer?
Robot voice because of
thick and dark looking. It looks.
Put a lot of oxygen into the fermenting yeast. They go aerobic and they start multiplying.
Great American Ale off, but I don't want to drink a bunch of American Ales.
Cause of death. Dun dun dun.
It tastes worse than Bud Light.
Straight up 10. Hello and welcome to Opinions and Beer. I'm your host, Adam. Today, we have a fun little episode. I got Brandon Rhiness coming on. We're going to talk about stoner films. He has a movie that just came out on Amazon Prime that we're going to talk about. We mentioned it before in a previous episode, but we want to give you guys the update, the rundown, and talk a little bit about what's going on with that. We may do some extra stuff about stoner movies in general for this episode, so bear with us. We are still in quarantine mode, so it's still a little odd. Everything we do is going to be odd right now. But first things first, we've got the beer of the day. And today's beer of the day is 10 Point Buck Haze by Buxton Brewing Company. This is an Imperial Haze Juicy IPA, sitting at 50 IBUs and 9.7% in alcohol by volume. Now, I cracked this guy open before doing the recording. I only had one left, but I wanted to say I am outside, right? I'm outside, so smells should be really shouldn't be as potent as they are. When I cracked this boy open, all I smelt was good beer. My beer is like 2 feet away from me, 2 to 3 feet away from me, and this thing smelt so good and potent. It was such a potent smelling, very strong smelling brew. I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. I've had this beer before, actually. You know, typically we like to have beers we've never had on the show. We've actually had this one on. Not on, but I've drank this beer before, so I wanted to keep that in mind. But this is the first time that the smell was just so intense. I think because I just never noticed, I guess, because maybe every time I've drank this beer, I've had quite a few before drinking, before this beer. With that being said, let's go ahead and try it right here live on the podcast. Here I go. Woo! It's a little stronger, kind of. It's a little This beer is a little stronger than when I previously had it. The alcohol is kind of coming through a little more in this particular in this particular can, at least. But so are the flavors. Oh man, the flavors kind of coming through. Woo! This is a good solid hazy Imperial IPA. This is really juicy. It tastes like juice, alcoholic juice. It's so good. This is such a good beer. Such a good thick IPA. Not too thick, not too bitter. Even it's right in the middle at 50 IBUs. You get the bitter, you get the hops, but it's not overpowering. Oh, that's so good. I'm gonna give this beer a solid 8 out of 10. Pretty good. Great beer. Oh no. It's about to rain on me. I'm outside trying to enjoy nature. And it may rain. I hope it doesn't rain on my equipment. I'd be so angry. Please, rain, go away. Rain, go away. Anyways, that's a solid 8, maybe 9, maybe solid 8.5 out of 10 for this beer. It's really solid. It's a really good hazy IPA. Buxton did really good on these hazies, on these IPA. There's a few that I've had at the brewery that I wasn't too thrilled by. that didn't really capture me, but they're stout. They're stout, and this here 10-point buck so far, they are top notch. They're the best beers. This is maybe one of the best IPAs in the area, but that's just my opinion. Speaking of haziness and hazy eyes, we are going to be talking about some stoner stuff. So stick with us, stay with us, and we're going to be getting right to that in just a few moments. Let me go ahead and take a quick little break. You will notice the break. I'm going to stop recording, and then when we come back from the stopping of recording, which you won't notice that I stopped recording. But when we come back, we're going to have Brandon Rhiness on the show. So that'll be great. Hello, Brandon. Can you hear me? Oh, shit. I can't hear you. Hello? Is that you? Let's see. Hello, Brandon. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome.
It was like Brandon. I said that earlier, and then like a little thing popped up and said, "Brandon cannot hear you." I'm like, "Oh shit!" I guess.
Oh,
So that was pretty funny. Brandon, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Yourself?
Yeah, no, it's just the end of the world.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know
Yeah,
how.
whatever.
How's it in Canada with all this end of the world stuff?
It's pretty much the same. I think we're all locked down and not much going on and everything. So honestly, it doesn't affect me much. I mean, I write from home anyway, so if it wasn't in the news, I probably wouldn't have even noticed. But my day-to-day life hasn't changed all that much. It's just things are tense, and I feel guilty every time I leave the freaking house. And...
well, that's better than my. I have a buddy, man, and he is socially unaware of everything that's happening. We went to the grocery store, and he got screamed at because he did not understand the 6 feet rule, and he was kind of invading people's personal bubble. And they just screamed at him. I'm like, I gotta wait outside, man. You are fucking causing a scene. You are causing a scene.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Oh God, he's just socially unaware. He didn't understand. He was like, "Come on, man, why are you standing far away?" I'm like, "Bro, you got to stay at this fucking red line. There's a pandemic going on. People are freaking out, and you're literally standing next to someone that's covered in a full fucking hazmat suit, just about."
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he stands next to the one person that's fucking covered in a hazmat suit, and of course, someone's gonna freak out. They're gonna freak out on him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I can't go out with you anymore, dude. You don't understand what's going on. We have to explain to him. Like, he literally is socially inept. Like, he does not understand COVID-19. He does not understand anything that's going on in the world. He was like trying to beg us to go out to eat. I'm like, bro, there's nowhere to go out to eat. They're closed. What aren't you understanding? It's all these drugs. Damn it, Brandon, it's your movie. Your movie inspires people to do drugs and be socially inept. I'm joking. Oh no!
Everyone in the movie did stay in the house, so.
You know what? You're right. You are correct. They do stay in the house, so you're not supposed to go out. But at some point,
at least on the property.
At some point, they have to leave and get groceries.
Yeah, I suppose.
You never shown their interactions outside of the property, so
Yeah.
we don't know how socially able these people were. But but anyways, last time, this is a trilogy, Brandon. This is the trilogy of you being on the podcast anymore, and we got a saga on our hands. But last time you were on, you were promoting I'm Haunted. How did that go? Did you achieve what you wanted with that?
Yep, somewhat. I got a lot of it. Obviously, didn't get as many views as I wanted on YouTube. it was just a different way of doing things, kind of like releasing it once a day. I didn't know if it would work or not, but I got a lot of attention for it. A lot of people like it and everything. I'm turning it into a feature. It's actually like, I didn't know how long it was going to be. I actually thought it was going to be too short. I put everything together, but I just like put all the episodes together, and it was like 2.5 hours long. I was like, oh man, that's way too long for a found footage movie. So I ended up having to cut out basically half the movie, or like half the content. So I got it down to like 85 minutes or something like that, and it's a whole different experience. Like, it goes so fast when you watch it. Instead of like 2-3 minutes per day, if you just watch it in one long go, it's like a whole new experience. So I'm hoping to release that fairly soon. And then I wrote a book, my first novel based on the I'm Haunted story, and people seem to like that. So I guess it achieved what I wanted to do. I just wanted to see if I could get something made that efficiently and cheaply. So I'm kind of planning to possibly do, pretty much definitely do another found footage movie, as soon as this whole lockdown thing stops.
I know. Has it affected any of your projects? Like, were you filming anything and you had to like take a break?
Luckily, the last thing I was doing, we finished filming like a week before things got really serious, and I had nothing else on the horizon as far as production. So I lucked out in that department. So basically, everything I'm doing now is writing. It just kind of sucks that everyone else that I know in my industry is that make their living acting or working on set. They're kind of out of business for the time being, which kind of sucks. It's kind of weird though. I've actually, like, my writing business has actually picked up since this started. I think a lot of like production companies and producers are looking for things to start right away when this is done. So right now they're just going to do all the pre-production stuff. So I've been kind of getting hired to write scripts left, right, and center. I can barely keep up. So it's keeping me busy, and then hopefully, a few months from now, when this is all over, everything will be ramped up again, and and I'll have a whole bunch of movies I wrote coming out. That's the dream, anyway.
Hell yeah, man. Man, you seem to be you're able to knock this stuff out. In my head, I said, "Oh shit, yeah, lockdown. I can sit around and write some stuff." And I've wrote jack shit. I think I've written more when I'm busy than when I have all this free time. So I don't know. That's just how my brain is, I guess.
Yeah, I can totally see. A lot of people are like that. Even when I start, like when I used to have a day job, I just write evenings and weekends. Like, I got a phenomenal amount of writing done. And as soon as I lost my job and I was doing it full time, all of a sudden it's all different. Now it's like somehow you lose your drive when there's like, if you get up to go to work for the day, you're already kind of up and you're out and you're about, you're doing stuff. If you wake up in the morning and now it's up to your own like ambition to do it, then it's kind of hard. It took me a while to get used to it, and now this is my job. So it's like, yeah, whether I'm busy or not, I got to sit down and crank out pages, because otherwise I can't afford to eat, basically.
I know, man. Life is so weird right now. I was my day job had temporarily let me go. Hopefully I can get back to work soon. But I do some work for like stores and whatnot for the Coca-Cola company or whatever for my day job. And one of the stores, man, they thought that I had COVID because I was coughing, and it caused such a big stir. It made that made its way to like corporate, and so they were like, "You can't come back to work until we know you don't have COVID." I'm like, "I don't have COVID, damn it! I just coughed." Like, what the fuck? I didn't know what to think, but no doctor's offices right now are seeing new patients, so it's literally, I'm in a catch-22 situation where it's quite impossible to get a doctor to give me a work release because they're not seeing people.
Yeah, such a hard situation.
I know, it's just so frustrating. And my wife actually got tested for COVID, and she doesn't have it. So that means that at least means that I don't have it, or that we don't have it anymore if we did. And so it's just kind of like, I don't know. I guess I can't sympathize yet with the whole freaking out, because it hasn't affected me. But
yeah.
But I'm trying to get there. I'm like, yes, it's scary. People are dying. It's It's just it's a new thing that we all have to deal with, and it sucks.
Yeah, it's going to be hell for like 3 months, and then a year from now, this will be like a distant memory, and it's, it's just, it's like 9/11. It's just something that happened in the past, and people talk about it, but we won't be in it anymore, right? So just gotta time to hunker down and just deal with it. I guess it's take it day by day, and don't it's kind of a new thing for all of us, I think.
Yeah. Thankfully, we have entertainers like you, though, Brandon, and releasing stuff. There's all this new stuff on. I mean, Disney is releasing like all these movies that are supposed to be in theaters are being released straight to VOD, which is actually bad for I think they're saying that AMC might shut down over all this. Like, there's some theater chains that may go bankrupt. They may get shut down over the loss of movie revenue. So it's bad for business, but I guess good for the common man that doesn't want to spend the $50 to go and see a movie at a theater. But there's plenty of entertainment out there right now. And speaking of entertainment, your movie that we talked about on the first time you were on, Hotbox, is now officially on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's been I think it's been pretty much a year since we had our premiere, and I had to learn, like, I didn't really know anything about the whole distribution side of things. This was my first feature to be released, so we were just like struggling with everything, just trying to get it out, and it's just such a learning curve to it and everything. So luckily we had some help in getting that out there. But of course, I was just hounded like day and night by people asking me when it's coming out, and my answer was always like, I have no idea. Hopefully soon. Even kind of when Amazon Prime, like even when they kind of approved it and stuff, even then it was still like it took a month and things were slow and there was like a backlog, and they kept saying like, it should be any day. We'll let you know within 5 days. It took like another 3 weeks, and finally it's like, okay, it's actually out there and people are watching it. So like now I can actually. Before I was even scared to like promote it, because anytime I put something up on Facebook, I just get a ton of messages asking, hey, where can I watch this? When's it coming out? Sorry, I don't know. Now it's like, it's officially out and you can watch it, and people have. So it's wonderful.
So yeah, that process, man. How do you like the Amazon distribution process?
We had our distributors, buddy of mine, Steve Kenny from Hood Up Films in Ireland. He's more of a horror guy. I think he found me when he chose one of my short horror films to be part of a horror anthology that he's producing. It's coming out later this year, and so we kind of met through that. And then he ended up watching Hotbox, and he loved it. So he's like, I think I can share this around to some of the distributors I know and see if I can find interest. So he did, and found somebody that was interested in it, and they took care of all the details. I kind of had to basically send them the film and do some of the minor stuff, but all the other details as of getting it on the Amazon and the other various platforms, they took care of all those details. So it kind of took that off my plate, which was good. But it's it's a lot of work, and it's just another thing you got to learn. Like I've learned every step of the process so far involved in making the films and getting them finished, and then this is just one other thing that I've done once now. So hopefully in the future it'll come easier.
Hell yeah, man! It's cool. It's cool that you found someone to do that. Yeah, like I said, I've put out 2 films on Amazon Prime. One was mine, and one was some guy's. I don't even remember what his name was, but I helped him out. I helped that guy out, and yeah, the process is definitely strenuous. It's got to be, certain things have to be perfect, and then the whole. I think one time I had to type out the subtitles, because you have to have a subtitle file or whatever for Amazon. Yeah. And so I sat there typing out the entire subtitles, and it's just time consuming. It's not really hard. It's just time consuming, and like you said, a learning curve just to get Amazon to accept it, and then it takes them weeks to accept it and weeks to publish it. So it's just like, because Amazon, they're pretty thorough with their reviews, and they review. I guess they sit down and watch the entire thing. Because I try to throw them a curveball and have like a parody subtitles, so that if people turned on the subtitles, that it would just be random gobbledygook, and they were not having that.
Mhm.
They were not having. They did not. They did not want gobbledygook subtitles. So I was pretty upset.
Yeah, they it was kind of funny too because being in Canada, like I've had problems with other movies that I've written that have been like produced by other people, and it'll go on Amazon Prime, but it's only for US and UK. So we got all these people in Canada that made the movie, so you can't even watch it. So when we first got accepted, it was the same thing, and they were like, "Yeah, it's like US and UK because they're bigger markets, and if it does well, eventually, like you'll be out in Canada and Australia and other places." So it's kind of like, all right. And then all of a sudden, they changed it, and they were like, "Oh, we're actually going to release it on all platforms at the same time, like in 60 countries or something." And we were like, "What?" But of course, the drawback of that was it was supposed to be up within a few days, but they ended up having to postpone it by like another couple weeks because of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the good thing is that they sent us a list of countries it's in, and like some of them, some like Fiji and just all these places like that. Some of them I've never heard of, like the Sandwich Islands and all these like weird countries. I was like, I've never even heard of these places, but apparently, Hotbox is available on Amazon Prime in those countries.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, we actually had quite a few people from here that were like, "Dude, like, how did you get available like on Canada and all that stuff like right away?" And I was like, "I don't know, they just did for some reason." So hopefully that will lead to kind of some more people watching and some more money coming in. Because obviously I want as many people to watch as possible.
Are you being updated on the analytics? Are you keeping up with that? Or are you not even worried?
At this point, we haven't got anything. I don't think it's like, I don't know if they send it out every month or every 3 months. I don't know how they do that, but yeah, our distributor will give us that information once they get it. But we haven't had anything now. So I've never been through this before. I have no idea what to expect in terms of number of views.
Okay.
I see people on Facebook saying they're watching it, so some people are watching, but I guess I'll be in for a surprise whenever those analytics come out.
Oh man, it was fun, dude. It was a fun watch. Like I sat through and I watched the whole thing, and I was like, man, this is pretty funny. I was laughing. I think I like how you filmed it too. I like how you read it and how you filmed it, because I love movies and films. Things like Snatch and things like what is that? Some movie about the FedEx drivers. Anyways, there's a few movies out there where it has like multiple storylines going at once, and I love movies that way. And your movie is just the entire thing is just multiple storylines. There's no real main character. Everybody's a main character. Everyone has their little side plots and whatnot. And I love movies like that. What made you write it that way and steer away from a clear main protagonist?
It's like the original, the concept was I just needed kind of like a story that I could shoot for dirt cheap. The original concept, it was going to be like 100% in the car. The car was going to be outside, because originally we were going to shoot it in the summer. The car was going to be outside of this house party. You never actually see the house party. You just see kind of people coming and going from the car, smoking weed, and all this drama happening. As I started writing it, then we found that cool location. I was like, well, maybe like a little bit could be in the house. And then it ended up being like most of it was in the house and some of it was in the car. We moved the car into the garage because we ended up shooting in the winter. And originally it was going to be the main character was going to be Simon, the young guy that was like trying to pick up that girl and getting help from the douchebag older guy.
Yeah.
But eventually I was like, yeah, that story, it's not like good enough to like dominate the movie. So I was like, well, maybe all of them can kind of be equal. And just through the writing process and the multiple drafts, kind of like storylines kind of got bigger or smaller, and they all kind of evened out. And even while editing, some scenes I cut out, so some storylines kind of got reduced a tiny bit, and other ones got more like focus on them. But that was kind of the whole thing, is just like, yeah, one party and all this stuff's going on, and there's like different cliques like within this party, and there's kind of people aren't aware of the other things going on at this party. They're kind of just focusing on their own little storyline. And so yeah, it's different than other things I've done. Most of the other ones I've done have a definite main character and that kind of stuff, whereas this one, it just kind of, it was just something different to do, different style, and I think it turned out well.
Once you were finished and everything, what which storyline stuck out for you as one of your favorites that you filmed for the movie?
I think the religious trio is my favorite. They kind of go through like the biggest arc of how they change, and I think they're the funniest. I'm planning to do a spin-off. I've actually written like a first like half-hour episode for a spin-off show for them that hopefully we can figure out a way to do. But yeah, they're probably my favorite.
Yeah, they were so great. As soon as I was seeing them, I was like, "This is so great! This is so awesome! I love these characters already." As soon as they were on screen, I was like, "This is the best." I even took a picture. I'm like, "Look at this! I'm watching your movie." Them, I like the gothic the gothic chicks.
Oh yeah.
And then I liked the. I didn't like him at first, but I liked that guy that was trying to get the pee from people. He was to pass his piss test because he was his facial expressions like started to grow on me. I was like, oh, this guy's pretty funny. This guy's
Adam Keith. He's he's a pretty big up and coming actor here in Edmonton. I see him. He's on a whole bunch of like kind of like radio station commercials and stuff, doing some sort of comedy thing. So he's been getting a lot of attention, and yeah, he's kind of a go-to guy for comedy. He can do other stuff. He's actually in another film I did where he plays like a kind of a kidnapper, kind of bad guy. So he can do everything. But yeah, he's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, well, I was surprised at how well everyone did. One of the probably the biggest challenges of doing a film like this is probably making everybody in these storylines likable enough so that you enjoy the full thing. And for the most part, I think all the storylines and stuff were fun to follow, and everyone did a really great job.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like it was like. Honestly, the shoot could not have gone better. We actually like finished a day early. We had 12 days planned to shoot, and things just went so efficiently that we ended up like finishing in 11 days, which is like unheard of. Like just usually things go wrong on a movie, whereas this one like I don't think anything really went wrong. We had some like weather problems because there's like snowstorms, and one of our actors drove off the highway, and we had to tow her out and stuff like that. But for the most part, everything just went well. All the actors were prepared. They knew their lines, and we'd have people come out, and it's like they'd be in a smaller scene. They drive out there. We get them in their spot, do one take, and okay, you're done. You're out of here. They're in and out in like 45 minutes. And they'd be like, really? That's it? And it's like, yeah, we were just like a well-oiled machine. Like everyone was so prepared, and just like it just could not have gone better. And yeah, like all the actors were great. Like there's so many things that could have gone wrong. It could have just, not been funny. It could have just, but it's like we were prepared, and we had some long days, and we were kind of flying by the seat of our pants. And, a lot of the time we were ahead of schedule, but sometimes we got behind schedule. And, and I'd have, my shot list for a particular scene. I'd have like 8 shots. And then Grace, our first AD, she'd be like, is there any way you could do it like less than that? Like maybe like 3? And I was like, maybe, so I'd be thinking about that. And she's like, even 2 would be better. And I'm like, come on. And then some of them, I was like, I wonder if we could do it in 1. So that scene, remember where they're in the basement and the one dude thinks he's like possessed because he's on mushrooms?
Yes.
We originally had like a shitload of different shots for that. But then Sam Reed, the director of photography, and we like planned out like, what if we do it in 1 shot? So we just did that shot where we rush in through the crowd and the camera's moving around like frantically like horror style. And it's like, oh, that was like a way more efficient way to do it. It actually like turned out really cool and kind of made that scene. So the actors did great. We had there was I think 58 speaking roles in it, which is by far the most I've ever done.
Hell yeah.
And we did extensive auditions and casting, and it just it took a lot of work, but everyone just nailed it. And there were some of them too, like at first when I saw them audition, I was like, I don't know if that's not how I picture the role. But then now it's like I can't see anyone else in that role. That's just how how good everyone did.
Now, did you have to cut anything out or reduce anything, or were you able to write this and film this the way you wanted?
Oh no, there was a lot cut out. This is the first real time. Most of the projects I've done before were short films, so there's not really a lot to cut out because they're so short. This is the first time where I had to cut. multiple scenes and parts of scenes. Some of it kind of, with my co-producers and I came down to kind of a bit of a debate where they wanted something in there, and I was just like, nah, it's not that funny. And there were some jokes that when I wrote it, it seemed funny, and even some when we filmed it, it seemed funny. But after watching it, I was like, yeah, it's not that funny. So I started just cutting out whole parts and scenes that weren't funny, and even I remember, I think it was like 2 days before the premiere. I just sat and watched the whole thing on my laptop, and I was like, there's still a few parts that are like not that good. I don't want anything that's like 60% funny. It's got to be like really funny. So I messaged Julie, my co-producer, who actually she played Ariel, the blonde religious girl.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, how about we cut these like few parts? And she's like, oh my god, good idea. I was thinking that myself. So I even cut about 5 minutes of the film out right before the premiere, just to make it even better, and it was a massive improvement. Like remember Simon, the guy that's trying to pick up the girl. There was a scene at the very end where he goes to profess his love to her, and at the beginning of the scene, that we shot, he started saying all these like love things to her, and she's just like, are you just naming love song titles? And then he's like, yes. And it seemed funny when I wrote it, but when I watched it, it just like wasn't that funny. So I cut that. And then at the very end of the scene, because remember there was the part where the kind of crazy Mexican dude with the big beard.
Yeah.
He walks up to Hector, the next door neighbor, and holds up a joint, and then Hector holds up that like foot long joint. It's after that in the back of the car where Simon professes his love. He's like, hey, do you want to go inside and smoke a joint? And he pulls one out. And then the girl is like, oh, I got one here. And she pulls out an even bigger joint that's like 2 feet long. And I was like, it's like, it was supposed to just play up that, she has an even bigger one. But I was like, you know what? It just, somehow it didn't work. So I ended up cutting that. There was another scene with the two guys who were trying to prove that the one woman's a porn star. There's other scenes with her. There's a whole bunch of stuff that got cut that it just, it's like when it comes down to it, it's all about making the best product you can. And I wanted it just to like fly by. I didn't want any boring parts in it, or every movie, even movies you like, there's always parts that are like, it's not that good. You kind of fast forward them. Like I wanted every second to be as funny as possible.
Now, how hard is that for you as the director to cut stuff?
It's a little bit hard. I mean, honestly, I would like to put in every single thing we shot, even if it's 3 hours, but I have to make it the best you can. And sometimes when you're shooting something, like you can't tell how it's going to fit together. It seems like it will. And then when you watch it, there's anything that slows the story down or just doesn't quite work. It's like, you know what, it's got to go. I've long learned to do that in my writing. I'll write a script and then just cut whole scenes. It's like, yeah, kind of like that scene. It's got some good dialogue and I like writing it, but it's got to go. It just takes that discipline to be able to do that. And I've worked on other projects where they just don't want to cut anything, and there's just parts in the movie that kind of suck, and it's like, God, why not cut that out?
Well, because it feels like, because you spent that time filming it, you don't want to feel like you just did something like that was a waste of time. And I feel like some people, they just, if you cut the scene and you spend all that time filming that scene, or however much time you spent filming that scene, it was like, oh, I just wasted. It feels like time wasted when you cut it, and it's just gone now forever. So that's why probably a lot of people want to save as much as possible.
And I totally understand that. And I've worked with DPs too, like directors of photography that or even like editors, and they want to have everything in there, right? And sometimes it's like, we'll get 3 different shots, we'll get like close up, wide, medium, whatever, and they want to use every single shot just because they shot it. So start on a wide and then go to a medium and then go to a close up. And I was like, man, you don't need 3 shots in there. Just use one of them. And like the story overall is what counts, not like the little bits that go into it. So it's like, I know it sucks that you spend all this time on doing something and then it's got to be cut, but it's, that's just part of the business, right? You can't like just have everything in there. There's Hollywood movies where they spend millions doing this whole big sequence, and then it's like, it doesn't even end up in the movie. It's just, be on the DVD, deleted scenes or something. But it's just, it takes that kind of discipline. And then I think like I'd rather have people like the movie more than stroke my own ego by having everything in there that isn't even funny, right? It's just editing is just it's a separate skill, and even when you're editing your own stuff, like if you're editing someone else's, it's easy to cut because you weren't there. But when you're the writer, director, producer, editor, all of a sudden it's like it's a little bit difficult. But I've learned it. It's like, yeah, this is what it takes, and I usually don't have any second thoughts about it. Usually, if I'm thinking about cutting something, I usually lean towards cutting it, so that everything that's in there is like that's definitely got to be in there. If there's something where it's like, that part's okay, it's like, yeah, it's probably best to cut it. There's some things, honestly, and even in Hotbox that I wanted to cut, but the story wouldn't work without it. And there's some few things that I tried to cut, and it's just like it has to be in there because it won't work otherwise. So, but for the most part, I'm like very happy with everything that with the way it turned out.
Yeah, man. Your film was really good. I think if there was like maybe one storyline that I felt drug a little bit, was probably the Christy Cummings, some of the Christy Cummings stuff where the guy's trying to like figure out who she is or whatever. I felt like some of that was it was mainly just him, mainly just his story felt a little repetitive, mainly because he just wasn't getting the hint. But I think that might have been what you were going for. So
that's kind of what I was going for. And yeah, there's actually there was another scene like towards the end with that storyline that I cut. I think it was after he finds like the religious people and Kayla Cummings like in that threesome.
Yeah.
There's a part where his buddy's like, that still doesn't really prove she's a porn star, and he's like, "Come on, man! Like, what's it gonna take?" And I was like, yeah, you know what? Like, I think the point is there. So I just cut that, and then I went straight to the part where she talks to him, and it's like, yeah, you could have just asked.
Like this. See, the finale was great. I feel like his arc just took so long to get there. But in the end, it worked. It worked out. Everything works out in your film. I think it's a great stoner movie. It's a great movie to add to the stoner collection, along with all the other stoner films out there. It's definitely unique. I like that it takes place all in one location. I love one location movies, and I love multiple storyline movies. And so,
yeah, it's funny actually. The way we found that location. The red room, that like long weird room. It was like all red. We actually shot an entire movie in that room that we actually did before Hotbox. It's been in post-production for so long with the distributor that it ended up got released or will be released after Hotbox. But we shot a whole movie with a woman locked in that room that she was kidnapped. So when it came time to do Hotbox, it's like, well, like we have that whole house like we could rent. So we ended up reusing that same house for that movie. So if you ever watch Cold Comfort, when that comes out, you'll be like, hey, I recognize that room. So yeah, like we were in the original like version of the script, I had scenes outside the party. Like I had people kind of at their houses or whatever, getting prepared to go to the party. But I was like, yeah, even just from like a logistics point of view, it's like those are just other locations we'd have to travel to and shoot. So I was like, you know what, let's just cut all that and have the whole thing at the party. So it's basically at the party or on like in the house or on the property of the house. But yeah, there's nothing outside of that.
Yeah, man, that's good choices, good decision making by everything you've done. I'm proud. I'm happy for you, man. I really hope that we can get more people out there, man. I'm gonna be sharing your film across everywhere that I can. Be like, hey, look, check this movie out. If you're a stoner, you'll love this movie. If you're not a stoner, you'll still love this movie. If you appreciate this, it's a fun, good time. This COVID-19 stuff has my son out of school, and he is trying to bug me to tell me to do stuff. So, is there anything you would like to say before we close out here?
No, just thanks for having me on the show again. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you liked the movie, and I want to encourage everyone listening to watch Hotbox. It's on Amazon Prime. It's going to be on like Tubi and some other platforms in the coming weeks, so keep an eye out for that. But Amazon's where you can find it now. So yeah, watch it and leave a rating and stuff on IMDb or wherever you can if you want to do that. I appreciate all the support that everyone's giving, and I hope everyone likes the movie.
Hell yeah, watch it on Hotbox, Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime means it's free. It's a free stoner movie. Get high, enjoy the coronavirus, enjoy the lockdown, and enjoy some Hotbox film from Brandon Rhiness. Thank you, Brandon, for being on the show. I'll chat with you later, man.
Thanks for having me.
We are a million and billion.